3 video editors. One is free, cross-platform, and getting quarterly updates that keep pushing it further into professional territory. One has the fastest timeline performance in the industry, but barely exists outside Japan. And one is the software that Hollywood requires you to use. Not because it's good, because it's a monopoly. DaVinci Resolve, Edius, Avid Media Composer. This is a comparison between the future of professional editing, a niche broadcast tool fighting irrelevance, and an industry standard that everyone hates but nobody can escape. Sounds like something worth investigating, right? I went through the editing communities, the company financials, and the professional workflows for all 3. And that's when I started getting suspicious. Let's break it down. Quick context. DaVinci Resolve was originally a Hollywood color correction system. Blackmagic Design acquired it, relaunched it as software, and made it free. Editing, color grading, fusion, compositing, and Fairlight audio in one application. Free version exports 4K 60 frames per second with no watermark. Studio available as a one-time purchase for advanced features. Edius was created by Valley, a broadcast equipment company. Current version has been available since 2020, with minimal updates since. Perpetual license or subscription available, Windows only. Known for the fastest timeline performance in the industry. 4K RED files play in real time without proxies. Mixed format timelines handle different resolutions and codecs seamlessly. Dominant in Japanese broadcast, but estimated at 2 to 3% global market share. The parent company focuses primarily on broadcast hardware. Edius feels like a legacy product. Avid Media Composer is the industry standard for film and television post-production. Over 90% of major film and VFX studios require Avid skills. Subscription only since 2017, when the company killed perpetual licenses and forced existing owners into annual payments. The interface hasn't meaningfully changed since 2005. The company's stock price has collapsed over the past decade. Acquisition rumors persist. 3 professional editors. Very different trajectories. Let's start with Resolve. Resolve's position in this comparison is unique because it's the only editor here that's growing. Edius is shrinking. Avid is stagnating. Resolve is expanding into markets that both competitors once dominated. Hollywood color grading, node-based compositing, multi-track audio mixing, 4 pages of professional tools at 0 cost, cross-platform on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Blackmagic has maintained this model since 2011. No features removed from the free version, no subscription pivot, no killing perpetual licenses, quarterly updates with genuine new capabilities that keep closing the gap with Avid's remaining advantages. The learning curve is significant. 4 pages of professional interface, but the investment pays because Resolve's industry adoption is accelerating. More studios are accepting Resolve projects. More post houses are switching workflows. The skills you learn today become more valuable tomorrow, not less. Fairlight audio is directly relevant here. Avid's Pro Tools integration was historically a major advantage. Resolve's Fairlight page now provides professional multi-track audio mixing, bus routing, and comprehensive audio processing at 0 cost. That gap has narrowed dramatically. Now Edius. Edius does one thing better than any editor in this comparison. Timeline performance. 4K RED files playing in real time without proxies. Mixed format timelines where 4K, 1080p, and different codecs sit side by side with no transcoding required. For broadcast news editors working under deadline pressure, that real-time performance isn't a nice feature. It's the difference between making air and missing it. That performance advantage is genuine and earned, but everything surrounding that advantage is concerning. Valley focuses on broadcast hardware. Edius is a legacy software product inside a hardware company. The current version launched in 2020. Updates since then have been minimal. Development pace is glacial compared to Resolve's quarterly releases or even Premiere's regular updates. Windows only limits adoption. Mac users cannot use Edius at all. In a professional market where editors work across platforms, this restriction eliminates a significant portion of potential users. The global market share tells the story. Dominant in Japanese broadcast, estimated 2 to 3% everywhere else. That tiny market share means a dying ecosystem. Tutorials are scarce. Third-party plugins are rare. The community is small. Finding help when you're stuck is difficult. The interface looks like 2010-era software, not archaic like Lightworks, but dated in a way that suggests the development team hasn't had the resources or mandate to modernize. A perpetual license still exists, which is rare and genuinely positive, but buying permanent access to software whose parent company treats it as legacy is a calculated risk. Valley could abandon Edius or force a subscription transition at any point. For broadcast news editors who need that real-time, mixed-format performance and already know the interface, Edius remains functional. For anyone else considering Edius for the first time, the shrinking ecosystem makes it a risky investment of your learning time. Now Avid Media Composer. Avid is the most complicated recommendation in professional editing, not because the software is complicated, because the industry relationship is complicated. Over 90% of major film and VFX studios require Avid skills. That's not a recommendation, that's a job requirement. If you want to work in Hollywood post-production, you learn Avid. Not because it's the best tool, because studios mandate it. The stability is real. Avid handles projects with 400 plus hours of footage without crashing. For feature films and long-form television, that rock-solid reliability matters when millions of dollars depend on the edit not failing. But everything else about Avid's trajectory is troubling. The interface hasn't changed since 2005. Bin management is a nightmare that editors have complained about for 20 years. The learning curve is steep, not because the software is powerful in a productive way, but because the workflow is genuinely unintuitive by modern standards. In 2017, Avid killed perpetual licenses. Users who had paid substantial one-time fees were forced into annual subscriptions. The backlash was severe. Avid ignored it. When you have a monopoly, you can. Collaboration requires Avid Nexus shared storage, which is extremely expensive. Pro Tools integration requires a separate Pro Tools license. The total cost of an Avid workflow adds up quickly. The company's financial trajectory is concerning. Stock price collapsed over the past decade. Acquisition rumors persist. Development has stagnated. The software that defines Hollywood editing is being maintained by a company whose future is uncertain. Resolve is actively eating into Avid's market position. More studios accepting Resolve projects, more independent post houses switching. The monopoly that protected Avid for decades is showing cracks. Lovely. Right, so here's where I land. DaVinci Resolve is the clear winner for value and future proofing. Free, professional, cross-platform, actively developed with quarterly updates. Growing industry adoption. The learning curve is real, but the skills become more valuable over time as more studios accept Resolve workflows. For anyone not locked into a legacy Avid or Edius workflow, Resolve is the obvious choice. Edius is the choice for broadcast news editors who need the fastest real-time timeline performance and already work in Japanese broadcast or similar environments. The mixed format handling is genuinely best in class, but the shrinking ecosystem, Windows-only limitation, Glacial development, and legacy status within Valley make it unsuitable for new users. The performance advantage doesn't justify learning software with a 2% global market share. Avid Media Composer is the choice for Hollywood film and television editors who need it for employment. That's not a recommendation, that's an acknowledgement that studios require it. The stability is real, the monopoly is real, but the outdated interface, the killed perpetual licenses, the expensive collaboration tools, and the uncertain company financials mean Avid survives on industry inertia, not merit. Learn Avid if your career requires it. Choose Resolve if your career allows it. One editor is growing, two are declining. The trajectory tells you everything. If you learned something new today, subscribe. Every choice is a trade-off. At least now you know what you're trading.